All right, y'all. In this episode of the Trisbrina Show, we are offering a mini workshop on how to reduce anxiety by hugging a pillow. Or a person. You could do it with a person too. This is going to help you to enhance your breathing capacity and is way more effective than you might realize. Studies show that hugging a pillow, it reduces it reduces anxiety and it relaxes us. But if you do it with intentional and directional breathing, it's going to 10x the relaxation response.
Yeah, because the way that we're going to show you, you get this, tactile response. You actually get to feel yourself breathing, because so many people, they don't know. They say, I don't know if I'm breathing correctly. I don't know if I'm breathing into my diaphragm. I don't know if I'm breathing into my chest. And so what we're going to show you is a way that you can actually feel what you're doing, how full your lungs are, how empty your lungs are, and how relaxing that can be when you take those deep breaths. And what happens in Vegas stays in Vegas, right?
That's right. We're going to be working in Vegas with the vagus nerve. Why don't we set this up by talking about some of the reasons why this is muy importante, just so we're all on the same page.
Muy importante.
And then we'll talk about the mechanics of breathing a little bit, right? And then we'll talk about this vagus nerve, and then we'll do the techniques. Because we believe that greater comprehension leads to greater results. So if you know why you're doing what you're doing, you're going to want to do it. Okay. So I think a lot of us are pretty aware of a diaphragmatic breath, right? It's that deep belly breath. And some folks are not aware of it. They've been chest breathing for quite a while. And why is that? Well, when we're little kiddos, when we're babies, when you look at your animals, their bellies go up and down. It's a natural state of being relaxed, right? But when there's stress, when there's anxiety, and it turns into physical tension, it causes restrictions around the muscles of the stomach, the digestive system, and that diaphragm muscle, which is a long sheet of muscle that goes from underneath your ribs and it touches right up against the heart. And this long sheet of muscle, it basically goes up and down like a pump. Now, when that
like an umbrella almost.
Yeah, it kind of has a little bit like an umbrella. That's true. When it goes up, when you breathe out, it pushes up. It gets the stale air out of your lungs. It gently massages up against the heart. That's how that works. But then when it pulls down, it's like a vacuum, and it pulls all that air into your chest and into your lungs and the lower lobes of your lungs, which is the most important. So anyway, people get stressed, and they end up with something known as sensory motor amnesia, which basically is a fancy way of saying they've lost the ability for their brain to talk to their belly. And so their belly stops moving and going up and down, which means that diaphragm's not pumping well. And what did they do? Well, the body's so intelligent, it'll find a way to get the air. So it'll go like this. And that's called chest breathing. Now, a couple of things happen with breathing. Some people breathe too much, and some people don't breathe enough. It's called hypoventilation and hyperventilation. So hypoventilation is when you are not getting enough oxygen into your bloodstream. This is all very interesting. Am I putting you to sleep? Hold on. I'm going to put Sabrina to sleep. Watch this. I'm going to do this. Everybody, look at this, babies. And look at this little cutie pie. So cute. Now, tell me that didn't make you yawn. Now, that's actually because your brain saw a face that was going, and it stimulated your vagus nerve to send messages into your body, and your system said, relax. Okay, hypo and hyper. Hypoventilation means you're not getting enough oxygen into your body. When you don't get enough oxygen in your body, you have too much of that other gas. Let's take a guess. What could it be?
Flatulence.
No. Carbon dioxide.
Oh, close.
And when you get these gases mixed up, it causes some serious health problems. Too much carbon dioxide in your body is going to cause it to become more acidic. It messes up the pH of your blood because the oxygen goes into the blood, right? So you don't have enough oxygen, you got too much carbon dioxide, your blood gets acidic. That leads to all kinds of problems and inflammation. If you're doing chest breathing, you might actually be getting a lot more oxygen into your bloodstream, which is called hyperventilation. But guess what? you don't have enough carbon dioxide. And you need carbon dioxide to offload oxygen into the cells.
And you're not getting it deep.
And you're not getting it deep. It's very shallow breathing. So you know that old test that people have you do. Put one hand on your upper chest and one down on your tummy and see which one's moving more. Now, it's actually okay for both of them to move, but it's ideal if the one in the belly moves first, and then right following that, the one in the chest. That means that the diaphragm's pulling down, doing its job.
Yeah. And that would make sense, right? If you think of the lungs like a container and you're pouring oxygen in, that the bottom of the container would fill up before the top. It's just logic, guys.
It's just logic. So if we use the pillow today and we hug it and hold it, and we'll show you how to do this, it puts a little bit of pressure on the area of your solar plexus and your diaphragm towards the bottom. And that pressure creates something known as proprioceptive feedback. And it's helping your brain to find the muscle. Because the sensory motor amnesia we talked about earlier means that the sensory, the intelligence of your nervous system, and the motor, the ability to communicate with the motor muscle, is got amnesia. It forgot how to turn that muscle on. So you see how we'll back up a little bit to kind of get the party started here, and we'll take our
You want
chairs
to move
out.
my chair? Oh, I get my own pillow.
You got your own pillow, honey. You're so cute. I got the nice big white ones. Aren't they cute? Mm-hmm. So when you're hugging, get a nice big pillow.
Go grab one.
Go on, we'll wait for you. You take one arm and you wrap it around the top like that. And that arm is going to be more up just under the chest, right? And around the solar plexus and the ribs. And that's going to, when we hug, because it's hard to hug and put pressure with just your hands, but the pillow gives you that ability. It creates more volume for you to feel that beautiful pressure up against your lower ribs.
Yeah, because you can feel it in the entire torso.
And then this one more towards the bottom is on top of the tummy, and it's going to help the diaphragm to draw the breath down. Remember, that diaphragm, it's a long sheet that goes all the way up and domes up like this. So you're on it here, but you also want it to sense the ability to pull all the way down, right? So, have you noticed how kids love to hug their teddy bear? It's so calming
Or
and
body
soothing.
buddies.
Well, if you're an adult and you have a body buddy, which is a long pillow that some people sleep with, can you just feel the comfort of just holding that? There's a tactile, as you said earlier, sensory feedback just from the gentle hug of the pillow alone tells your nervous system, relax, it's okay, it's a safety zone. And you want to get into that zone because it's a part of your nervous system known as the parasympathetic
I'm going
nervous
to take
system.
a pillow next time I go to the dentist.
Oh, okay, it's a good idea. I thought you were about to say I'm going to take a nap on the show. So that parasympathetic is known as the rest and digest aspect of the nervous system. And we want that because we want to elicit the relaxation response. The other side of the nervous system, the autonomic nervous system, is the sympathetic. And that's more the strong kind of powerful breathing, or when you're heightened in stress, your sympathetic nervous system's, wigging out. So we want to relax that guy and bring the para up. Okay, so far so good? Mm-hmm. Okay, so as you're hugging and you start to breathe, see if you can feel your tummy pushing a little bit into the pillow and your arms move. And then breathe out through your mouth and squeeze on the exhale. That'll help that proprioceptive feedback turn on.
Yeah.
Go again, breathe into the pressure of your pillow. Hold it for a moment, breathe out.
And hold it there too.
Yeah, there's so many cool things that we're going to share with you. We're just getting started. Go ahead.
I was going to share them.
Oh, you're already feeling good? Why don't you share, and then we'll add more layers of...
Well, what I really love about this is that I can touch the pillow on my whole torso. So I get so much feedback and so much comfort, and I can feel the breath really filling the lungs, and that I can inhale and kind of feel filled up and cherish it for a few seconds.
That's a nice way of saying it. Almost like when
Hold
you eat
it.
a meal.
So you
Filled
can
with
breathe
breath.
in and feel the fullness. And then as I exhale, even more slowly than I inhaled, because I have this extra ability to squeeze my arms if I want to, which helps me purge maybe more than I would if I didn't have that remembrance of the pillow, to really empty the lungs. And then a nice pause before I go again.
You want to exhale longer than you inhale. So when you exhale, the muscle, well, let's talk about the diaphragm. When you inhale, the muscle actually pulls down. And that's why your belly puffs out a little bit, because the muscle has to protrude when it's being pulled down.
Like a dome, like an upside down umbrella.
Yeah. So it protrudes out. You get that little Buddha belly for a second. And then when you exhale, you actually want to pull your belly button in to flatten the area. It'll help tone those muscles that just got stretched. But it'll also, on that pulling in and lifting up, it helps the diaphragm muscle to rise back up into the dome. And you want that because you want it to go up towards the lungs and push the stale air out.
In our moment to moment life, so many times we don't take a deep breath, but even more so, we don't exhale.
Enough.
So we leave this
Stale.
residue, stale air in
Yeah.
the lungs all the time. So
exactly.
like right now when we're filming this, it's winter. It's winter. It's so important to get that stale air out, because that's going to help your immune system. It's going to help the lungs to be like fresh and clean. And if you have inhaled something, you purge it. So when we're breathing shallow or we're not exhaling fully, you're leaving that residue in there. And days happen and weeks happen and months happen, and it becomes dirty.
Stale
Toxic.
air. It's like your filter. Your lungs are like filters, and you're not getting the dirt and the staleness out. So the more you practice this, and we'll talk about expanding the rib cage next, the more those lower lobes of your lungs are moving. They're being squeezed like a sponge. Now, that's so important because in the lungs, there are little capillaries that come up to the lungs, and the capillaries are carriers. They're like tiny little blood vessels, and they take the oxygen and they pull it into the bloodstream. So you want those capillaries to be stimulated, otherwise they'll become dormant capillaries and they'll shrink. So when you get this full breathing going, you'll build more capillaries. And the lower lobes of your lungs, which we're talking about getting a lot of air in and getting the stale air out, the lower lobes of the lungs have more parasympathetic nerves in them, which means you're going to manage stress so much better because you're moving the volume of breath into those areas.
Yeah, and if you ever happen to catch a virus or anything like that, you are already used to having efficient lung capacity and flexibility of the lungs to hold a lot of air and get rid of a lot of air. And these exercises are really great, not only to prevent, but to bounce back from catching something.
Great points. So we're trying to get into some of the mechanics, a little bit of the science of breathing, so that you understand all the benefits to you and what happens if you don't do it well. So far we've got the big old pillow, we've got the wrap around the top and the wrap around the bottom. We're breathing into it. We're feeling that tummy moving more. We're activating that. On the exhale, we're squeezing a little. We're purging those lungs and pulling that belly button in.
And holding for a minute
And we're holding, and then we're breathing in again.
through the nose.
Maybe let's say you breathe in for a count of 4. You could breathe out for a count of 6 or 8. The diaphragm's rising up more, stimulating the lower lobes and getting actual toning going on in a nerve called the vagus nerve. Let's go again. Through the nose. Purse your lips and listen to the sound now. Squeeze the pillow. Relax. A little pause, as Sabrina said, and keep going. Now that sound is going in through your ears, so through your auditory system, it's sending a signal to the brain, which is the opposite of or low-grade stress. It's saying, relax, all is well. So now your brain is picking up on it, and your brain starts to send signals down through the longest nerve in your body. Your longest cranial nerve is your vagus nerve. So the vagus nerve runs from the brain. We'll show you a picture. And it runs through many, many organs. Let's first get that up there. Yay!
Stop it.
Okay, so this nerve here, this cranial nerve, you can see it's running down both sides of your spine, and it goes through your lungs and through your heart and big time into your digestive system, but it's also going through the diaphragm. Okay? Now, as it's going through the diaphragm, it actually either gets toned or overstimulated. So what do we mean? Well, when your diaphragm, which has the nerve running through it, right through it, when you're doing that gentle breathing, and you're feeling like that baby, it's massaging up and down, because remember the diaphragm goes up and down, that nerve. So there's it's bidirectional. First, when we were listening to the sound, that nerve starts sending a signal to your diaphragm. Relax. And then that diaphragm gets going, and it sends a signal through toning the nerve back up to the brain. I am. Right? And then your brain goes, good. And then your vagus nerve and belly goes, I know. Right? So
is it nighttime?
And you are totally eliciting the relaxation response and speeding up the body's ability for healing.
It's a beautiful relaxation because it's not just the body being relaxed. Like sometimes, I don't know about you, but I have laid down to sleep and my body is so tired, but my mind is still doing stuff and it won't stop. But I find with this breathing and with intention, the intention of being aware of the breath and the pressure and the pausing, the mind gets relaxed.
Can you feel it already?
Oh, I
so
can.
Chill. I'm loving my pillow.
We
here.
need to stop this recording.
We're gonna all go and take a nap.
No, but I just want to underline what I said because I've struggled so much with that. My body can go to sleep almost any time, but my mind can't. Like I never have a restless night because my body won't sleep. I have a restless night because my brain won't sleep.
That's so interesting.
Because I can't turn my brain off, and this intentional focus somehow I feel like my brain gets drunk on
vagus nerve, baby.
On relaxation.
What happens in Vegas stays in Vegas.
It's like my brain had a beer.
Your brain had a beer. So let's review.
Do you guys get that? Those of you here live, have you ever felt like my body's so tired? Why can't you sleep?
Oh yeah, but this won't turn off.
Yeah.
So there's another layer to this that can really help, and it has to do with your posture. So remember we talked about hypo and hyperventilation? Well, hypo is when your body's having a really hard time getting oxygen because there's so much pressure from your posture like this that your chest is pushing on your poor lungs. And your lungs need room to breathe. They need room to move. Your rib cage is a carriage.
Yeah.
Go ahead.
I just want to say it's so important what Tristan is saying. Please listen. We think that posture doesn't matter and that working out is optional. Even some of the toning that we do, like in Fitness Fusion, it's not optional. It's to keep the carriage in a position where the lungs can breathe, so that in a situation where something happens and you're compromised health-wise, you are in a position to get oxygen. If your body's stuck like this, it's not good.
This is part habit, part
but then
way you're working.
It becomes permanent if it's too long.
It's also your mood, right? It can be like life is heavy, right? And that is completely squashing those beautiful sponges called your lungs.
We're talking about this kind of
rounded or just heavy and sitting with crappy posture. So look, lengthen the spine. Feel like somebody's got a hook, lift you up.
shoulder blades.
And feel this rib carriage expand. Remember Mom, Grandma said shoulders back, lift your chest.
Yep.
You're not walking around all stiff. You're just, your upper body is a pump as well.
You're taking advantage of like your inner square footage. Like
you are.
If you were a house for sale and you're like this, you drastically are going to go for less because you have much less square footage. Up here, lots of square footage for air.
So we want this rib carriage to lift. And so when you're practicing your breathing, you should practice not only the deeper diaphragmatic breath, but also opening the ribs and open the arms. Expand the muscles between the ribs, the intercostals. Breathe in through your nose. And notice now as the ribs get off your lungs and they create the volume, the real estate, you can actually breathe a whole lot more. And then breathe out and let your arms float down, which is symbolic of calm down. Now breathe from here to here. Breathe in from the tummy and keep going. And keep going. Look at how much more air you can get in. Now it's good for the chest to go up and down because you're purging and squeezing and filling those lungs.
Like a sponge.
And that's what we want to get going. So when you're doing things like Tai Chi or you're doing your Qigong moves and you're feeling the arms opening, the ribs opening, and you're breathing with your movements, that's a full body breathing practice. Yep. That is going to keep you so healthy.
Yep. And the core work, a lot of the core work that we do where we're contracting, the standing cat-cow, the what's the proper name for it? I call it baby bird.
Baby bird.
It's
That's
not
what
baby.
You call it?
It's not baby.
They call
bird.
it cat-cow in yoga.
No, you have climbing the mountain.
Climbing the sacred mountain.
Climbing the sacred mountain is so good for expanding and contracting. We have to keep it flexible, right? It's not about getting stuck up here, and it's not about getting stuck down here. It's you having the ability to be flexible, right? The lungs have to be able to breathe. If you think about it, the whole body needs to be able to be supple, right?
Well, as you study the art of Qigong, you will find that the whole system is around breathing. Breathing through your skin, breathing into your muscles, into your fascia, breathing energy because where you're focusing, that qi is being moved with your breath into your organs, into your energy centers, breathing into energy gates, right? Like the whole thing is a moving, breathing meditation. But without the apparatus and mechanism of the body pump, we can't circulate the life force. So yes, for oxygen, but also let's get that life force moving. Yeah. So get the diaphragm moving, use the pillow, get that brain-body feedback, proprioceptive feedback, find it. It's going to help your digestive system. Then get into the lungs, practice moving here, breathing out, getting that full breath, and exhale longer and slower just to practice that.
Sitting, easy.
Especially if you've been spinning out, getting two in your head.
Yeah.
Do that, slow it on down, and then see how you feel and see how you sleep, and notice how much more oxygenated you feel. Your brain's going to feel clearer. Your body's going to heal faster. You're not going to be so tight because your body is it's moving and breathing.
And it's so good for sleep because of the way I talked about it. It quiets the mind and it quiets the body. It sort of puts it in this, I'm going to call it a harmony hammock. It just feels like they're swinging together. So great to do in the evening because I get drunk on the relaxation, feels really good. But it's also fine to do in the morning just to get back into oneness with the body and the breath. any time, if you just have a couple minutes and you're like, you know what, I just need to get myself in this oneness, do it. Just grab a pillow.
So do it to improve your breathing and your respiratory capacity. Do it to knock out stress. So good for that. Just take a little break in the day, with or without the pillow. The pillow's a great reboot.
Yeah, makes it easy.
And do it to help you sleep better, because sleeping is a type of Qigong. It's an energy work. And if you're spinning around in your thoughts at night, you're not getting that deep, restful sleep. You're going to wake up feeling tired. And so do it for those reasons. There's so many other reasons for longevity, and make it a way of life. Breathing is something that people take for granted, and they're not necessarily doing a great job of breathing. Make it a practice. It's a powerful, beautiful practice.
I love that Debbie said in the chat that a panic attack is almost like the opposite of breathing fully. I totally agree with that. Anytime, for me, immediately my mind says dentist, because that, like, dentist is a thing for me. I will immediately, when I go to the dentist, because for whatever reason I have a thing with it. I had dreams about teeth before I think I even had a tooth. I think I dreamt about dentists. Is that full breath. And it's almost like you can't have the same thoughts. You immediately change your state. You change your energetic state. You change your frequency. It changes what you're feeling. It changes what you're thinking. And I think that's really the beauty of why it quiets the mind, is because it changes the state. You change states of your energetic frequency so quickly.
I'm sure you've noticed that when you're breathing quickly, you're thinking quickly. There's a time for... There's stimulating breath techniques that are amazing for your immune system, for your health and vitality, but we're really talking about for healing and chilling out and sleeping and stress relief as a practice. Get this sucker moving again. Get that posture. Get those ribs open. Get a full breath. Notice the difference. Really, really take it seriously, because it takes practice to make it automatic the way it used to be when you were a kid. And we've unlearned something very natural, which is so sad in our society. But we sit in chairs all day long. We work on computers. We have a whole lot more stress.
Or watch TV.
We watch TV. We don't move in our culture like we used to. You want to take away somebody's capacity for health and vitality, stick them in a chair in front of a TV or on a computer and leave them there. Their body's going to die so much faster. So we got to combat this. So you got a powerful tool here. And the pillow is a fun way to get the party started. Yeah. But I would highly encourage you to get into some Qigong. Yeah. If you don't have our Qigong for Beginners program, go to satorimethod.com / not Trisbrina.
If you go to Trisbrina, that'll get you to the Trisbrina Show. So you can get notified of when we're going live.
You can do that one, or you can go to this one.
Qigong for Beginners.
To get yourself some amazing free Qigong training. It's a full course for you. And there you go.
And I think just moving through your day with an awareness of when could you sneak in any kind of movement, any kind of breathing, any kind of fresh air, any kind of nature. Like we do. Like today, I ordered some shoes from Zappos, which I tend to do. And then I tend to return, 75% of them, at least?
It's just a little shopping experience. It comes through the house, it goes back out. I don't care if you keep more.
Zappos just stopping by. Anyway, we have a UPS 0.6 miles from the house. And Tristan said, why don't we just walk? And I'm like, sure, if you carry the box. So we just took a moment together in the sunshine. It was 66 degrees. It was beautiful. And we just walked there, gave him the package and walked home. And I have to say, if I reflected back on what did I enjoy about the day, a lot of it was that. It was just taking some moments like that outside of the norm to see and breathe and be. But I'm sensitive to it because of the rituals that I have in place. I wasn't walking thinking about my worry list.
Yeah, no, we were just flowing and breathing. We love sharing techniques with you guys, so thank you for being part of our community. Those of you who are in the dojo, you know we're doing some serious deep dives into breath work right now, so we thought this would be a fun addition.
Oh, and they get the sleep gong master
coming
class
up.
is coming up for dojo members.
Yeah, that's on the 21st. I just did the dojo check-in video, so you have a whole video. It's under 10 minutes letting you know all the cool stuff coming this month. If you're not in the dojo, you probably have one of our home study courses. If you don't, you've got that new program right there that you can go and get for free. So enjoy that. And that's it, folks. It's date night. I think we're going to stay home tonight.
We've been going and going.
We were in San Diego the other day.
We got so much
back in
stories to
Austin.
tell you guys.
Oh, goodness. Been a lot going on. All right. Much love to you.
Go hug a pillow.
Yeah, you pillow huggers,
Hugger.
you.